Hi guys, this is Sam Michel, officially Salvatore Michel, but I go by Sam. And this is a sort of catch-all. What do you call it? All category. It's personal. It's professional. It's if you can call it that, but it's definitely personal. And this channel has largely been a personal channel, but we might talk about that later. My perception of what's personal, what's professional, and so on. I have to use the toilet, I just started recording, so you're gonna hear some poo-poo noises. Oh God. Oh, it's such a relief. I mean, sometimes I have to dig it out. And I do not want you to visualize that because it took me a while in my life to be able to do that without reservation. It took me actually a number of years. I mean, believe it or not, it took me a number of years to be able to dig my compacted feces out of my colon, lower colon, with my left index finger. It took me a while, and it's strange that it's strange that I would I would have to overcome something to personally be able to do a medical procedure. It's a semi-medical procedure. I mean, it is on myself. But it's just, we all have things we have to get over, and as we get older, I think, and that's one of the things I had to get over. I'm not I'm not a trained, not officially anyways. I'm not officially trained EMT or anything like that, but I do consider myself a trained animal emergency technician. So if there is an animal version of the human EMT, it would be me. Although I can't, I mean, I could list out the procedures, the medical procedures that I've done on animals, my own animals, in order to either save their life or whatever. And it's less than one hand, and not because I'm proud of myself or I think I know better than anybody else. It's just that no one else was stepping forward, and I had to do it myself because they were my animals, and like I said, no one else was volunteering. Hey, I'll help you take care of your animals. There was even local doctors that could have offered that, but they didn't. Maybe someday I'll tell you those stories, but not right now. All right. Anyways, probably what I'm going to do is pause the recording when I rinse my anus from feces, and typically it's blood. Yeah. It's just a little bit. It's not bad, and it's not what do you call it, alarming. It's actually, if I complain to a family doctor about this, they'd say, well, take a laxative, to help you be able to poop without strain or and compactification. But the thing is, the laxative typically affects my system way too harshly. My system is so sensitive that even a little bit of laxative ends up it goes a long way. Yeah, literally speaking. and my body overreacts, and then I have diarrhea for a period that it's just as uncomfortable as the compacted feces in my colon. So anyways, sorry about that. It wasn't my intention to do that, but I did want to keep recording because this is important to me. This is going to be a last video per se in this on this channel for a lot of different reasons, and I got a new channel on Brighteon that I'll put the link to, but this morning was the last video on there, so I mean you can check it out, but I don't anticipate publishing any more videos on my Brighteon channel. And then also there's a new YouTube channel that I created the other day from ostensibly for my mother and her upcoming birthday, and even my brother wouldn't, which I can give you, also put the link down below for that channel. So there's 2 other channels I can put, but again, there's not going to be any new content, not in the foreseeable future on either one of those channels. I may put, if I have the time, I may put videos on the new YouTube channel for the succeeding generations of our species. But that whole statement right there makes me want to cover all the reasons why I might discontinue making videos here, in all three venues. So let me my body's signal to me that I'm done pooping is that I have this feeling that I need to urinate, and that's the signal that I'm done pooping for this session of pooping, this pooping session. So I'm getting a little signal. So I'm gonna pause this recording and then come back when I finish cleaning my anus with its clean water that I fetched water the other day. And I could describe everything or try to post pictures or whatever, but I end up rather describing, if it's important. I end up rather describing rather than posting pictures. It's just I prefer that way. But anyway, because it gets people to anyone who's listening, it gets them to visualize what's going on. That's why I said I don't want people to visualize my compacted feces, because it's gross. It's really gross. And the last picture I took was it's too gross to even describe. All right, so God bless you guys, and I'll be right back. They should have a timer on the pull down menu. They don't like that. But anyways, I really do. I want to, before I stop recording for this segment, I want to thank AZ Screen Recorder. They've been extremely useful. This app and the app developers have been. I can't say enough. Thank you enough. Just like Brighteon and any other thing. I mean, Brighteon is a video venue, a video publishing venue, and AZ Screen Recorder is an what do you call it, Android smartphone app. So I know the difference, but I still want to say thank you to both, appropriately. So let me get back to why this is probably going to be the last segment in this on this channel. Last foreseeable, anyways. I'm in a what do you call it, basically a new location in my life. I mean, it's not I've been here a while. I've been here several months. I'd have to think backwards, count backwards to figure out how many months I've been here, but I've been here several months. And this is my schedule the way I've seen it. I'm going to tell you my schedule the way I've seen it. Okay. And I know for a lot of people in my life that know me personally are going to say, you're, I don't know. They're going to use some negative adjective that criticizes me how I spend my time because it doesn't make money or something else, or for whatever other reason, or they don't understand. They don't put in the effort to understand why I do the things that I do. That's just really sad. It's sad. But anyways, I'm going to give you guys the schedule that I've been on since I've been here, and this is months. I'm not joking, months. I've been here for several months, and this is the following I'm going to give you is my schedule, my daily schedule. And this is my daily schedule every single day since I've been here, and this is several months. Okay, I work, I rest, I eat when I need to physically, and typically it's donations. People are giving me rice and whatnot, and maybe a little bit of a dish. And repeat. That's it. That's all I've been doing since I got here. Work, rest, eat, and repeat as what do you call it, as necessary. Work, rest, eat. Work, rest, eat. Work, rest. That's my life right now. Making these segments for any, whether it's personal or professional or whatever it is, it's still work. It's still work for me. I mean, it's a pleasure. I'm not saying I resent it at all, but it's still work. Everything I do since I've got here, my new personal venue, it's work. It's work. It's attention to detail work. It's not play. It's definitely not play. It's work. Yeah, it may not make money, and there's a lot of people that criticize, my ex would criticize me up and down. You're doing nothing because it doesn't make money. But that's a really patently unfair criticism about my life here. It's patently unfair. With that attitude, it's like with that attitude of my ex, it's like, okay, that's what you think? Don't ever speak to me again. Since you can't, it's obvious that you cannot respect me for who I am and what I do with my life. Please do not speak to me ever again until you can respect me. There is no timer except there's a bubble on the right that's hidden, and I would have to, because my fingers are so kind of stubby that what? Hold on a second. This is my workspace on the west side of it's a plastic card table, and it came with the house. There's quite a few things came with the house. There's a, what do you call it? All-purpose utility rag that's actually a discarded shirt from somebody. It's a house, what I call the house rag. Yeah. Is that me or the rag? Who's the house rag there, Sammy? Is it you or the rag? But this is my primary workstation in the house, is where I'm sitting right now, and where you hear me from, and I lean forward and I speak closer to the microphone on the device, and I'm sitting in my westerly. It's not exactly west, but it's a western orientation, like probably northwest, but I visualize it in my head incorrectly west. Anyways, so it's basically on the west side of the plastic card table that came with the house, and it's my workstation, my primary workstation, and I do most of my work here in this position. Sometimes I work over what I call the signal area of the house because it seems to have less fringy characteristics. So yeah, but it's still flaky. It's still flaky, especially in the daytime. I just uploaded a picture, two pictures in an email attachment, and this is on what is it, Gmail? Yeah, Gmail. And this is in the signal area of the house, and it took hours. So I decided to take a nap and recharge the device. Recharge, sorry. The correct verb is recharge. Yeah. Recharge is the noun. Recharge is the verb. All right. I have a really bad joke, right? Yeah, if you don't know, if you can't hear the difference between those two words, then you need what's called hearing glasses. Yeah, you need hearing glasses. I'm not going to hit the pause button right now because since this is probably going to be the last audio segment / video segment on this channel, I'm going to make it as special as I can for myself and for everybody else. So I'm making a cigarette by hand. It's 100% natural, wrapped in, the locals call it buri. That's the name of the plant, or tree, or whatever, buri. But you got to put the emphasis on the last part, or else they won't understand you. If you say buri, they won't understand you. What are you saying? Oh, buri. Oh, okay, buri. Okay. So it's the cigarettes. The paper, quote unquote paper, is made out of natural fibers, which is almost like canvas. Almost like canvas. It's really strong material, and can be used for roofing and whatnot. But anyways, not just cigarette papers, but it's buri is quite versatile. And the inner is, I think it's Philippine tobacco, 100% as far as I know, it's untreated, what do you call it? I hope and pray that there's no pesticides on it and stuff, or herbicides or pesticides, whatever. Pesticides or herbicides on it, but you never know. So we just I don't know. I'm not very good at rolling cigarettes, but let's try it out and see. Let's try it out and see. Hey. Sometimes I'll use Philippine expressions like "hey." That's definitely a Philippine expression, but I picked it up. I pick it up over time, and it might have a similar meaning for me as it does the locals, but and it's a little hard to explain to English speakers. It's a kind of signal of exasperation, or it could be alarm, like kids doing something inappropriate or whatever. You go, hey, something like that. So it can be used in different situations for different purposes. But hey. That's me talking reprimandingly to my cigarette. You're not burning properly. Hey, you're not burning properly. Hey. Well, the cigarette's response to me is, You didn't roll me properly, and you're not holding me properly, Jack. If I may explain, if Jack, that expression Jack is something I used quite a bit in my past with exes, ex-girlfriends, ex whatever. Um, yeah, like hey Jack, like hey Jack. We would say to each other, not just me to them, but also to them to me, like hey Jack, wake the fuck, wake up. Wake the freak up, Jack. Get your head out of your butt, Jack. I keep pushing back the schedule for the new channel because I got I got a lot of things going on in my life. Yeah, none of them are making money right now, but that's not the purpose of the activities. That's not the purpose of the projects. They weren't constructed or designed to make me money. And there's a lot of people, including my mom, my mother, my ex, uh, maybe my brother. I mean, there's a lot of people in my life that would say, Sam, you're wasting your time. Get a job and support yourself. Take care, support yourself. And I have made that a priority. I've tried in several different ways to get employment here. But you got to remember, this is coronavirus, and a lot of things are not happening in coronavirus. And one of them is getting a job for me. But anyways, and I got a lot of kind of, you could say, bullshit excuses for that I don't have a job right now. But to me, they're valid. And I've tried. I've tried, man. I've tried in different venues. I've tried in different, different, what do you call it? I've approached a lot of different people, what I consider appropriate people, and like my friend who runs the barangay here, I've asked him for a job. He hasn't seen, what do you call it, justifiable. It's kind of unprecedented. Besides, because I'm a foreigner, and he can do pretty much anything he wants in this barangay as capitan, but he hasn't deemed it worthy, obviously, to, what do you call it, because it's typically Philippine citizens that he just assigns jobs to or positions to. He designates, like a police captain, that kind of thing, and he just designates. He appoints them. And he could conceivably, appoint me to some kind of goofy position like a barangay mascot, and pay me some ridiculous low wage. But even that's still unprecedented, and he might have to take a flack from a lot of people, just even for that kind of joke position. Anyways, so I've tried, man. I've tried. So I'm not going to say any more about that. It's just totally, it's inappropriate on this channel. It's really inappropriate. So let me get back to the reasons, and it's many. I think there's many reasons why I might stop making videos on this channel. For one thing, I only have 3 subscribers, and I think one might even be two of those subscribers. So it's possible that there may only be 2 subscribers, 2 individual subscribers on this channel, and I can't justify putting so much effort into something with so little meaning. If only 2 people actually care enough to subscribe to this channel, and maybe sometimes when they have time pay attention to these video segments, which are really audio segments just put in a different format to make it acceptable in this venue on YouTube, what's the point? There isn't any. I could. One of my friends, his name is Doug, and I've known him for 46 years, I think. Pretty close to 46 years. That's a long time. And he likes nice, concise, succinct emails or whatever communications. Like really brief and really concise. So I've tried to train myself to be able to do that for him and for other people that's because especially during Corona, people don't have the time nor the patience or whatever it is to even care. And that's part of the reason why I'm going to discontinue making audio segments or whatever you want to call them, audio/video segments for this channel. I don't, if people don't have the time to even care, then why should I put why should I put any effort into it? Now you could say, oh, it's just Corona, wait till it's over, then people will get back. I don't see that happening. I don't see it happening. So right now everything is kind of stalled, right? Everything, getting a job, most people's lives, everything is kind of stalled, isn't it? And America's having trouble getting started again. They're having trouble getting all the vaccinations out and to people that will accept them and helping people getting back their lives back. America's having trouble doing this. Imagine how the rest of the world is doing. Not even as good. Not as good. So if everything has stopped, not just stalled in the Philippines, everything has stopped. I mean, I'm not saying about my barangay Capitan friend and his life. Of course not. Because he's a man in power. And he's been appointed or elected himself, appointed and or elected himself to his position in the village. So of course his life is going to continue as long as there's funding for it, and I think it might be federal, and that's a good chunk of his what do you call it, allowance, which is my point about this channel in particular is, if you don't have the time, I don't have the time. If you don't have the time, I don't have the time. It's the golden rule, man. Maybe someday if you have the time and I have the time, maybe someday I'll make more videos for this channel. But for right now, if you don't have the time or inclination, I don't have the time or inclination. And I'm not going to do it for posterity. I'm not going to post a video here for posterity because I'm already doing that in other ways, in other venues. So if I can trust my device, my smartphone, it appears to be early afternoon here, but it's really dark outside, so it must be overcast or an eclipse, a solar eclipse. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, man. I'm too busy with work. As you know my schedule now. It's work, rest, and eat. Not necessarily in that order, but it's work, rest, and eat. Actually, it's not that in that order. It might be work, eat, rest, more typically in that order. Work, eat, rest, because I typically follow. If I eat a large meal, my body puts a lot of energy into processing that new food, and I typically end up passing out, literally passing out, because I'm just exhausted, because physically exhausted, because my body's putting all that energy into digestion, and I have to just lay down and process. So I take a nap at the same time and wake up quite rested and fresh and lucid and what do you call it, coherent, God willing. God willing. That's a goat in the background, by the way. All it does is remind me of my goats that I lost in mainland Samar, and I don't like to think about it because it was like a failed experiment, and I lost my animals. So Samantha was my favorite, a female, small, very small Philippine type variety of goat, and she was very, very small as an adult, and I think miniature goat for by American standards. But anyways, I don't. So every time I hear a goat bleating, I think of Samantha, and then I try not to. Well, there's probably a lot more reasons why I would discontinue. But I thought that's the primary, right? What I've already discussed. So that's enough. We don't have to go into the whole gamut of reasons why I would stop making videos on this channel, or pause, at least pause on a system level. I guess biologically you might call this phase hibernation mode for this channel, but so I'm not exactly terminating it, but killing it. I'm just, because killing it would be what I did to my other channel, Sam QQQ. I totally what do you call it? I removed my account. I deleted my YouTube channel that I had put thousands and thousands and thousands. I'm not joking. Of effort, of hours of effort on that channel, and nobody cared. Nobody cared. Nobody had the time to care. Nobody cared, nor inclination. Nobody cared. So I deleted it. The only reason I might not do that for this channel is for historical purposes, so that anyone. This is the way I visualize me passing on this planet. He was an odd creature. He was an odd one, wasn't he? He was an odd one. Let's look into his story just to see what he said and what we can do in our way, in a very expedient way to sort of verify his story. He was an odd one, wasn't he? Yeah, he was an odd one. But interesting, and let's look into it and see what details actually corroborate our investigation in our investigation. That's how I envision me passing on this planet. That there's a small team of specialists, like not morticians, but what do you call it? Like journalists, investigative journalists, a small team of investigative journalists that look into my life and my contacts and my family and what my exes and all that stuff, and try to sort of corroborate my story. And I'm not going to retell that story here. It's not an appropriate venue. I'm not going to retell my life story here. It's just not appropriate on this channel. It's not appropriate. You're going to have to get that somewhere else. And it's not Brighteon, and it's not the other YouTube channel, okay? It's there. But right now it's inaccessible because I'm not publishing it. It's not for my contemporaries. My life story is not for my contemporaries. My life story is for people 3,000 years in the future, when they actually do care or may care. So yeah, right now it's inaccessible. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. So, I've learned a lot in my 58 years, a lot, and I've tried to share that. Let's be nice and call it wisdom. Okay, let's be nice and use that adjective or noun. Sorry, noun. Let's be nice and use that noun. I've learned a lot of beautiful things in my life, a lot of beautiful things. It basically started when I was, I'm going to start the story, a little bit of the story, when I was 16, around 16. And even though I typically start the story when I was 3. For this venue, for this channel, I'm going to say 16. And I used to literally pray to the goddess of wisdom, the ancient goddess of wisdom, the ancient goddess of wisdom, Athena, when I was 16. I believe that that's around the correct age. 15 or 16, I was around that age, and I literally prayed to the goddess Athena, please give me some of yours. Please give me some of yours. Please gift me, please give me some of yours. Goddess, please. And I would pray and I would beg and I would pray and I would beg. And she did. Over the years she has. But it's taken a number of years of consistent faith and discipline in her. And I consider her an alter ego of who I call now the Prime Goddess. Or PG for short. And that's basically my life story right there, in a nutshell. My life with the PG. So, you can get a lot more details in other venues, but right now they're unpublished. Right now there's a small fraction of some of the audio segments available that are published. I think it's let me think now. I think it's I believe the URL right now for about approximately 1 year. I got a URL for $1 for 1 year from it was the cheapest URL I've ever bought for 1 year. I think it's edorian.xyz. Edorian, I believe it's edorian.xyz. Yeah, that's it. That's the published. It's a small set of segments available for general consumption, but it's not really meant for my contemporaries. If you ever listen to those segments, you have to remember that primarily they're created for people. One of the labels I give them or label them is the tri-millennials, people 3 million or 3,000 years from now. 3,000 years from now, the tri-millennials. And it's a different species. God willing, it's a different species, better than ours. I'm not going to put that link in I'm not, no, you're going to have to get the link from actually listening. So I believe it's Eidorian in the Smith spelling. In this E. Smith, he's a fiction writer, sci-fi writer, one of the best, most loved sci-fi writers of, I think it's American fiction, sci-fi, American sci-fi. It's Americana, the Lensman series. So read the Lensman series, get the correct spelling for Eidorian, or at least, look it up. And it's definitely on Idiopedia, definitely. So, because I grabbed some images from there. But it's, Eidorian.xyz. That's the URL for a limited set of audio segments for the Tri-Millennials. But you gotta, if you listen to them, remember that those segments were made for the Tri-Millennials, not for our contemporaries. So God willing, if the only people listening to these, or listening to this particular audio / video segment posted on my old YouTube channel, or second to last oldest YouTube channel, which is just under my name, my full name, not my nickname. What's my point? That, God willing, it's not the journalist team looking into the details of my life for verification purposes, or verification purposes about the details of my life. Yeah, when you clean a car, it's detailing, and when there is a detail of your life, that's the noun. All right. Yeah, listen to it, you young spring chicken. If you can't understand the difference between those words, the noun and the verb, then you need some listening glasses, yeah. Or clean the wax out of your ears, maybe. No, because the link would have expired by the time, yeah, right. God willing. That's why I say God willing. God willing. All right, anyways. And now I can't remember. I think it's actually a Google Drive. The URL is actually a Google Drive link. Excuse me. I think, if I remember correctly, it's actually a Google Drive link that Eidorian.xyz points to a Google Drive link. That's what the actual link is, and it's a bunch of it's a code. It's a scramble of characters. It's a valid URL, but it's all scrambled, and I would have to write it down and blah 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 blah. So for right now, anyways, for the next approximate year or 1 year, it's Eidorian.xyz. All right, anyway. One final remark about subscribers and listeners of this particular channel on YouTube. Just because you might have the time and inclination doesn't guarantee that I will. Just remember that. That's not a threat. That's just It's not a threat, it's just a fact. All right, so that's enough for right now. And I don't, you know, I guess the primary reason I'm making this segment is because I have put in a significant amount of work, time into these segments, and it needs closure. So there you go. To use an expression that I find distasteful or unappealing, it needs closure. So, and I'll say exactly what at least approximately what I said on the Brighteon channel that I closured earlier today. That God bless you guys. And my friendship with the PG is such that I don't have to say may. She's given me the authority to say, God bless you. God bless you for listening. God bless you for caring. And God bless you otherwise. But hopefully it's not negativity. Okay, God willing, it's not negativity. I hope and I pray that it's not negative attention. Even the journalists looking into my life for authentication or validation or whatever you want to say, verification of details. I hope it's with an open mind and a clean heart. All right. God bless you guys. Until, maybe some other time. God bless you guys. Maybe some other time.